Welcome to yet another video about the recent hot new mods that have caught my eye and potentially yours as well. Let's start the video with the great city overhaul. Markarth is truly the most underrated city of Skyrim, but thanks to JK's Markarth Outskirts, it's had a little bit of a revival on the Nexus. This mod enhances the outskirts of the city, touching on the stables area and the farms area a bit further down. It adds tall walls and added weapons, increasing the city's defenses and making it a lot more intimidating. I can only assume the added protection is there because of the Forsworn. While this mod adds a lot to the city, it still preserves that feeling of being in shambles and borderline abandoned, which I really like. It makes sense for Markarth. This is what it looked like before, this is what it looks like now, and this was my previous setup that I had in my Markarth video. If you want to see a Markarth overhaul, I recommend checking that video. I did have a different graphical setting back then, which made the video a little bit too bright, but I still think it's a very good time and you should check it out. After you're done with this video, of course. A series of amazing mods I would love to bring more attention to would be the Northern Scenery series, adding more details on the outside areas of Skyrim, giving a true feeling that the ancient Nords had a great civilization that now fell apart and is in ruins. We'll first start by taking a look at the Whiterun Tundra, adding ruins near the surroundings of Dustman Cairn, the Bleakwind Basin area, and near Rorikstead. The most notable one would be a huge aqueduct indicating that the Nords had clean water, which was probably a huge luxury back in the day. While this is the biggest mod in the series, there are also some other ones that touch on Bleak Falls Barrow that add more structures to the ancient Nord tomb, including an ancient Nord statue. Angervund, for which I had to disable a few trees to get a clear shot, adding again more structures. And Selvund, making the campsite more developed and the way up the mountain more detailed. And Ironbind Barrow, which simply adds a huge gateway to the ruin, changing the whole area, making it so much cooler. This series of mods is really cool and brand new, so make sure to keep an eye out for any new additions because you sure don't want to miss this out. Don't you ever think to yourself that there are a lot of ways to kill Nazim, but still, never enough? Well, I got a cool new weapon for that. Introducing the amazing sword mod, something I'd love hanging on the wall if I had some space. And money. Elixorian is a really cool new weapon mod, adding a fantasy sword that can be crafted as a one-handed or two-handed weapon. The blade is filled with these cool elven-like designs, and the hilt has these golden touches that makes it feel a little more magical. This is the type of weapon I imagine seeing in Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, and it will definitely make your character stand out and look amazing. Definitely adding this one to my collection of Nazim killers. If you also hate Nazim, you should check out my Patreon, where you officially get a badge of being a Nazim disliker, a hater, or a despiser. Don't check the Nazim lover tier, that's not worth it. PS Boss is at it again, this time with a Wisp Mother. I mean, if vanilla wasn't skimpy enough for you, take a look at these, this mod. There are two variations available for this mod, and obviously I'm going with the more covered one. The other one is exactly what you would imagine. Nariva OnlyFans confirmed? I'll think about it. Now with this mod, enjoy getting completely destroyed as you explore Frostmere Crypt. Not because this mod makes him stronger or anything, but believe me, you'll get a little bit distracted. Here's another amazing addition to the Skyrim wildlife. That is Mihail Mod's new creature series edition, Ring-Necked Pheasants. I'm pheasantly surprised with how good these new chickens look. Nariva, they're not chickens. They're basically wild chickens. We can agree on that, right? They probably also have the IQ of a chicken, which is still higher than a Nazim lover like Lincoln. Now they're pretty rare to spot, and when you do spot them, they will run away, but with the power of AI altering mods, I was able to get close to one. But it didn't really care that I was there, and it made me really sad. So I started running after it, and catching them is actually really hard, but I finally managed to do it. I finally got my revenge. If you like this mod, consider also getting the Hanging Pheasants replacer. These creatures were in vanilla as well, and they looked like this. But by getting the new replacer, these new models and textures are introduced that will make you want to order them whenever they're on the menu at a tavern. The next mod will be a very small change, but I thought I would show it off in case you might find it useful, because I do. That is MCO block recovery, which makes it so if you press down the block button while still attacking, when the animation is over, you can go directly to blocking. If you only have MCO without this mod, if you try pressing the block button while the sword is still swinging, the button basically gets ignored and you have to press it once the animation is done again. It's basically just a quality of life change that can potentially save your life. So you're a barbarian looking for your next new armor mod? Well, you're in luck. Wolfcry Armor adds a new unisex set that looks stunning. If you didn't know, I sure didn't before I read the mod page, this is X2's version of an armor that was introduced in a mod created way back in 2012. This is from Vilja, a companion mod that I didn't even know about. It was definitely before my time, but going back to the Wolfcry armor, it looks amazing and can either be a light or a heavy set. It comes with 2 great swords, 2 one-handed swords, and 2 shields. Also, there's a version with a cape and one without, which is pretty cool to have the choice. If you want to have an immersive way for it to be implemented, you should have it with a Vilja mod, as she will craft it for you. Or you can get the standalone version if you want to look cool without attaching yourself to a lovely character, because you have issues. So when you're in a tavern, there are a lot of different noises you can hear. There's banter, bards playing music, the occasional ass whooping that can be quite entertaining, but the genius Joby1 UK thought of some sounds you should be able to hear, sounds that will turn heads. We'll first start with burps of Skyrim. During peak dinner hours, you'll occasionally hear the NPCs burp without shame. This is weirdly immersive and realistic because in Skyrim, people wouldn't really care that much about etiquette.
That was yummy. I always enjoy my meals in here.
In fact, the NPCs higher on the social ladder, or simply the most polite ones, would actually apologize.
Pardon me.
Meanwhile, the lower ones would just...
Ha! Better out than in, as they say.
So other than get completely wasted, what else do you do at a tavern? Sleep. So Goodnight Skyrim would have NPCs say that they are tired and such as they go to their private rooms.
I'm going to sleep. Goodness knows I need it.
And once they're comfy in bed and fall asleep, they can even snore with snores of Skyrim. While the mouths and eyes have a little bit too much movement, you can still just pretend that they're so passed out that they have spasms. Look at my man Niels here, probably the oldest dude in Windhelm, sharing a bed with someone who he probably shouldn't be sharing a bed with. But one thing's for sure, he's definitely too tired to make a move. And don't think that this mod only affects one gender. And lastly, we have old people randomly say, "Oh dear." This one is the most realistic of all.
Oh dear.
Why do old people say that? Do they need someone to talk to maybe? Call your grandparents, everyone. Is Niels depressed? He sure sounds like it. I mean, look at him, he looks so sad. This mod is so depressing, you almost forget that he has a meeting with Chris Hansen planned. So as all of you know, it is time to like this video and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, there is literally no better way to support this channel than to go watch my other videos. So I will have a few suggestions in the description. Do consider supporting me on Patreon as it fuels more and more content on this channel. And you also get access to longer versions of the videos with more jokes and such, which I believe you'd enjoy. Other than that, I don't know why you're still here. Click on some videos and leave me alone.